This is the Whole Earth Game program. Because everything depends on it.
Alanson Charles is a 64-year-old environmental designer of One Whole Earth System, a graduate from Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California. Class of 98, Alanson is a whole systems thinker with a better way to find the way. A visionary designer struggling against the standardization of inadequate housing, food, water, energy, and occupation. For every living thing, just 5 things. Looking for his first big break, he comes to you with his first book, Play Whole Earth Game. In 1995, Alanson re-entered academia with an idea to end the lack of adequate housing and runaway inflation. Since then, he's been extremely focused on whole systems thinking, as imagined by R. Buckminster Fuller, and his book called The Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth. This book is the direct inspiration for Alanson's book, called Play Whole Earth Game, where we assembled a board of directors with the likes of John Todd, Amory Lovins, Nikola Tesla, to get us out of any situation our little spaceship One Whole Earth can get us into. As you know, a good meal made with love is the real food. Let's plant a garden to continuously provide the best possible food. First, feed the body, then feed the mind. A personal garden and/or a community garden feeds the body and the mind. It leaves a legacy of plenty. All living things need 5 things: home, water, food, energy, occupation. But before we start, let's remember the 4 agreements and the 7 laws that govern the all. Remember, everyone plays at practice. Don't be late.
And you're it. Well, what are we talking about here? Let me just, as always, set the stage for a man who's thinking, who has curated extraordinary thinking, and is bringing to us something that I am personally enthused about. Born July 14th, 1960 at 7:14 a.m. as a dedicated student of Thoth, Alanson Charles is here now to bring you the most important message that I could ever imagine.
Thank you, Cary. I always love your show, and I love you so much. For all your viewers, this is what came to me. I started my life with my natural mother as David Lawrence Bowman, but I was adopted and raised to manhood by another fantastic person named Raymond Alanson Charles, and I'm lucky to have his name. And the way we play the game in that family is we've switched things around. So my name was Alanson Jared Charles growing up. And of course, my mom had to shorten that to Lance. So I've been Lance for about 45 years. And I switched over to, took the name Alanson based on my original name to honor all my relations. So today, I bring you this message as son of Raymond, a star seed, and the son of Thoth, the Atlantean, who is my inspiration and my philosophy teacher and our philosophy teacher, and how we're going to use this philosophy to get to where we want to go. And together we are the son and daughters of the morning. We are all of the all. I want to say welcome home.
Raymond, your father, a man of impeccable character, a natural player of the whole earth game, and he taught by doing. He was a real master of long view thinking.
Well, he was a master at long view thinking, and he always took into consideration how his action would affect other people. And with that legacy, I bring you this idea of the Declaration of Human Sovereignty. But my love for Raymond is, of course, endless.
Alanson, any student of the Hermetic principles taught by Thoth will have to agree that understanding these secrets put order into all that was chaos. And there's no other way than, it turns out, the way. To experience this now, in the 3rd dimension. Fighting against the Tao is not possible.
Of course not. And once we attain this knowledge, one way or another, we understand that we are all in this together. So, with the wisdom that I have gained after studying the Emerald Tablets, I was able to see through the veil and with the eyes of our Universal Father. So now I have the wisdom to know the difference. And I would love to share with you the wisdom to know the difference as well.
Probably a good time to throw out a disclaimer. Warning, warning, warning. Not the robot from Lost in Space, one of my favorite heroes, by the way. But passing this point, as you're watching, as you're listening right now, is going to change your life forever. So if you want to go forward, stay with us. If you don't, just go shopping. And it's well worth it at reclaimthreads.com.
Dream large dreams, because small dreams have no power to inspire. So how does nature build is the question. Buckminster Fuller had the audacity to ask this question in the early part of the last century. And the result, of course, was the world game. Designing with a child's mind. How can we include all into the future? Imagine such a thing as no waste. Use less, waste none.
We can use our intellectual resources to save our planet, and it'll be engineered to provide shelter for all living things and house all those who are displaced by rising sea levels and other natural calamities that continue unabated. Our purpose for the future is to clean water and replace the Gulf Stream. Housing, water, food, energy, occupation, all of it matters, and all of it will be addressed.
Perfect. Well, I think it's great. Now, I found this document, and as soon as I read it, I thought, if Cary Harrison reads this document, people will listen. So I just would love it if you would start from the top here at regarding contact with extraterrestrial nations and see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's set the stage by pointing out this is not mythology or fantasy. We have a federal government. We have NASA, which is the highest ranking organization in the US government that deals with anything off planet, as well as plenty of things on planet. They officially recognize what are now called UAPs, formerly known as UFOs. We have top Navy pilots. We even have Marines. We have generals, 4 5-star generals. We have people acknowledging this through all layers of the federal government. It is no longer theoretical. It is an absolute stated governmental fact that more research needs to be done. And no one in the government at the highest levels is now saying it's not true. We do believe something is there. Has it been admitted yet? Not so much, but we know at some point a declaration of human sovereignty is going to need to be delivered, and we want to share that with you now. Be thrice great is sort of the bottom line. That would mean 3 times great, which is not so hard to do once you understand what this is all about. Because you're amazing.
Let's just stop. Remember, Cary, if you and I can do it, a couple of funny looking guys like us, anybody can do this thing. This is not something. Now, what we're going to lay on you too, folks, is super important. Everything, okay, this applies to every single person. Now, the most important thing we want to remember is that we are all in this together separately. We are the best our Creator can offer. We're here to help whatever life experience life.
Yeah.
That does not include suffering anymore. We are no longer here to be, beaten up by outside influences. And that's why we're listening to this radio station. That's why you're listening to Cary's voice, is that there's a better way. Let's see if this is it. Let's just go ahead and see if this is it.
Well, let's take a look at the contract with extraterrestrial nations and forces. This is really quite brilliant, and it lays it out. And there's really nothing to disagree with because it's not a political instrument. It's not siding one against the other. It's actually siding all of us together. It says, "We, the people of Earth, extend greetings to all races in the greater community of the universe. We acknowledge our common heritage before the creator of all the universe, both visible and invisible. We declare the planet Earth as humanity's planet of genesis, our home world, and our sacred inheritance. We pledge henceforth to sustain and preserve the Earth for all generations to come. We call upon all humanity to treat all races everywhere with wisdom and justice here on Earth and throughout the universe." Now, with that come fundamental rights. We, the people of Earth, regard the need for freedom to be universal. Therefore, we hold that all individuals in all worlds are created equal and endowed by the Creator with sacred and inalienable rights. Fundamental among these are the right to live as a free race on their planet of genesis, their home world, the right of self-determination, self-sufficiency, and creative expression, the right to life without oppression, and the right to pursue in a life a higher purpose and a higher calling that the Creator has provided to all. Before the greater community of the universe, we, the people of Earth, do now invoke these fundamental rights for ourselves and for our home world, along with certain rights that naturally derive from them, including the right to sovereignty. The people of Earth shall be self-governed and independent, neither subject to nor dependent upon any other authority. No extraterrestrial force shall contravene or abrogate the human sovereignty of this planet. We also have the right of planetary sanctity. As our planet of genesis, the Earth shall be free from extraterrestrial intervention, intrusion, interference, or exploitation, both mental and physical. No extraterrestrial force shall make close approach or assume close orbit or make any landing or engage in trade except openly and with the expressed consent of the people of Earth achieved through a democratic means. We have the right of sanctity of biologic and genetic material. No extraterrestrial power shall take, possess, or manipulate human biological or genetic material for any purpose whatsoever. We have the right of occupation. As the native people of the one known inhabited planet of this solar system, we claim this solar system as our sphere of influence. No extraterrestrial bases may be established on bodies or stations orbiting the Earth, nor on other planets or bodies of this solar system, except with the express consent of the people of Earth. Also, we have the right of peaceful navigation. We claim the right to travel and explore within our own solar system without interference or restraint from extraterrestrial forces, and maintain the right to deny access to this solar system by any extraterrestrial forces. You see, we, the people of Earth, consider it our rightful responsibility to assert and defend these fundamental rights and to give and receive aid consistent with these rights. In the case of any dispute with extraterrestrial forces, the burden of proof of innocence shall fall on those who are not native to Earth. The assessment? Well, when in the course of their evolution, it becomes necessary for the native people of a planet to unite, to transcend the conflicts and differences that have separated them from one another, and to assume among the powers of the universe a separate and equal sovereignty, a respectful consideration of that sovereignty requires that they declare the causes which impel them to this present course of action. Although the Earth has undergone a long history of extraterrestrial visitation, the current situation is that the people of Earth are now suffering the effects of a global extraterrestrial intervention into human affairs. This intervention employs a strategy of deception, it employs manipulation, exploitation, the goal of which is control over humanity, which will result in the loss of human freedom and self-determination. It is now the sacred right and duty of the people of Earth to oppose, to resist, and to repel this extraterrestrial intervention to declare and defend our sovereignty, our freedom, and our independence from all extraterrestrial forces. Let these violations be considered by those supporting the cause of freedom throughout the greater community. Intervening extraterrestrial forces have refused to openly disclose and reveal the nature and intent of their activities on and around Earth. These extraterrestrial presences are clandestine, they're covert, they're uninvited, and unapproved by the people of Earth. These extraterrestrial forces have concealed their own identity, their political or economic alliances and allegiances, as well as the authorities and powers that they serve. So, as is becoming increasingly apparent from their actions, extraterrestrial forces intend to exploit the Earth. They intend to exploit its resources, they intend to exploit its people, and they are engaged in a systematic program of colonizing humanity into a subservient client state to be ruled by agents of these extraterrestrial forces. The extraterrestrial intervention and occupation seeks commercial gain. It seeks economic power and the strategic advantage offered by this world in retaliation, or in relation rather, to other worlds. Extraterrestrial forces have repeatedly and with impunity violated national and international laws of the Earth's people. These offenses, which still continue today, have included violations of restricted airspace, abduction, transportation of humans without their consent, murder, rape, torture, sexual abuse, interbreeding with humans, and cruel experimentation, theft and trade of human biological and genetic materials, theft and trade of Earth's natural resources, covert mental and psychological influence, mutilation of humans and animals, tampering with and disabling of military defense systems, and clandestine infiltration into human society. Extraterrestrial forces have secretly negotiated treaties and agreements with human individuals and groups without the informed consent of the people of Earth. Extraterrestrial forces have systematically attempted to persuade and mislead humans through extending false hopes and promises of wealth and power and protection, rescue from planetary catastrophe, membership in a galactic federation, and spiritual salvation and enlightenment. Extraterrestrial forces have exploited and exacerbated human conflicts to serve their own ends. Extraterrestrial forces have been disempowering humanity by leading us to believe that we can only survive with their help and their advanced technology, thus fostering our complete dependence upon them and denying our ability to ensure our own survival. Demands and declarations. This is what's important for all of us. Accordingly, we, the people of Earth, do hereby declare all previously existing agreements or treaties between any human government, group, or individual, and any extraterrestrials to be forthwith null, void, and permanently suspended. We demand that any such previously existing treaties or agreements be fully and publicly disclosed. Any future agreements or treaties between human governments, groups, or individuals and extraterrestrials must be negotiated only with the full consent of the people of Earth, publicly and openly expressed by an international democratic body representing the nations and peoples of Earth. We demand that all extraterrestrials now cease all operations, all activities, immediately vacate and depart from this Earth and its surroundings, including the sun, the Earth's moon, and all planets of this solar system. This includes vacating any natural or artificial satellites, as well as all space within the solar system. We demand that all extraterrestrial organizations who have established or operated bases on the Earth, on its moon, or anywhere else within this solar system dismantle these bases and fully disclose their nature. We further demand that all living humans who are now in custody of extraterrestrials be returned immediately in good health. Further, we demand a full accounting of all humans who have been taken or held by extraterrestrials, including those who have died in captivity. In addition, We demand that all human biological or genetic materials taken from individuals, that those be accounted for and then destroyed, and their intended use be identified. Any devices implanted in living individuals must be identified so that they may be safely removed. We demand full public disclosure of the purpose and details of the extraterrestrial hybridization program, including the location, the identity, the activities of all living human extraterrestrial hybrids, whether on Earth or anywhere else. Be it known throughout the universe that from this time forward, extraterrestrials may only enter our solar system, approach our Earth, fly in our skies, set foot on our soil, or enter our waters with the explicit consent of the people of Earth. No other way. We therefore do solemnly declare that the people of Earth are and should be a free and independent people, that all humans are hereby absolved from all allegiance to extraterrestrial powers, and that all political and economic connections between them and the people of Earth are totally dissolved. That, as a free and sovereign race in the greater community of the universe, we assume full power within this solar system to conclude peace, levy war, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to undertake all other actions which a sovereign planetary race may rightfully and ethically do. Let's have a concluding statement. Let's wrap this up so that it makes poignant and clear sense. Let it be understood that in making this declaration of human sovereignty, we, the people of Earth, affirm our future and destiny as a free race within the greater community of intelligent life. We recognize that we are part of this greater community and that we are destined over time to encounter many different races from beyond our world. To them and to all others, we hereby declare that our intention is not conquest or domination in space. We declare that the rights and privileges that we affirm here for ourselves, we also affirm for all races of beings whom we might encounter. In making our declaration of human sovereignty and freedom, we proclaim our rights, our responsibilities, our privileges as a free race in order that we may pursue greater unity, pursue greater peace, pursue greater cooperation within the human family without unwanted or unwarranted intrusion and interference by any outside nation or force from the greater community. We make this proclamation as an expression of our divine right and honorable intent for the human family and for all races in the universe who seek to be free. This is a key part of the new Constitution as we move on to the planet of one whole Earth. And finally, tick the box, I have read and agree to the terms and conditions stated above. Well, I have to say that is about as magnificent a treatise as anyone is ever going to get a chance to read, and certainly read out loud. I mean, I am a fizz.
Well, that's the question. Did you read? We read it. Do you agree with what it says?
I ticked the box at the very end that I agreed with all the terms and conditions. Absolutely,
Okay.
without an eye blink.
Again, two regular Joes and a guy behind me who's another regular Joe. You know, if we can do it, anybody can do it. Now, the thing is, we've said it. We've put the words into the universe. I have done everything I could, God, to do as you asked me. Now, it seems like if we just knew that there was just 5 things for every living thing and we were all in this together, and the fact that we all have now freedom to come and go as we please, but we know now we're basically the jig's up. We're no longer fooling around with like what's happened in the bumps in the night. It's time to move forward, right? We got to get something past this thing. So now we can see what's going on in the planet with a much larger viewpoint. So that's what I learned, and I'm trying to hand it off to y'all. The Declaration of Human Sovereignty, again, you should read. Please like and share and comment on this that you have read and fully read and agree to this Declaration. And come with us and join the game.
One of the things that I admire about it is it's just got Thomas Jefferson woven throughout. My ancestors who wrote the Declaration of Independence, it really does speak to a tyranny, whether it's a single king of England back in the day, or multiple kings or multiple forces acting as a single king. The genius of the time over 300 years ago is still the same genius today, because it uniquely was the first time any live human was able to put forth these concepts of self-determination, of individual freedom, of the right to protect oneself, and also the right to not abuse someone else or be abused either. And this declaration is really deep, Alanson, and you've thought about it a lot. You understand it keenly. How would you summarize this for somebody who's just joining right now? What is the
again, you give me great honor to say such great things about how astute. No, I'm not. I just like when I found a couple. So as I've been going through my life, accumulating knowledge and understanding things, I'm like, if I just showed this to a few other people, they would get it too. And then together we would just figure this out. Like if I could just, like after all of that stuff that we talk about on Free Speech Radio, if they would just throw in, oh, and by the way, we just need 5 things. Go help your neighbor. Right? I mean, I'm always like, if just put on the highway, don't speed and don't tailgate, and you'll save a lot of people.
And, Hawaii famously does that. Speed limit 25 miles an hour to cross the entire island. That'll take you 3 hours because the speed limit.
Well, 25. That's ridiculous. Okay.
And it's not that the government wants you to go 25 when there's nothing on either side for a million miles. It's the Hawaiians do not see time and speed the same way.
Well, now, and as you said, there are times. There was a time before 1492 when integrity might have been the badge, the realm, the coin of the realm. There may have been a time when not having anything was the highest level of being something. And Kondironk, now it's the dawn of everything. And again, the author's name is eluding me, but I'll find that and put it in the comments section. But Kondironk was given a world tour of which he was able to speak in many different languages. He picked up languages very carefully. Anyway, the declaration is that we are an individual person. Now, if we come together and we start to see this thing, we have to see our planet as a teeny tiny dust speck that's here to provide 5 things for every living thing. And it's our job with our intellect to stop the fighting, to stop the lust for ridiculous wealth, and to understand that that our wealth is locked up in natural resources that this planet provides every single day free of charge. How is it that we are on a mother spaceship Gaia who provides everything we need, and then people can't afford it? It's just ridiculous to me. I cannot understand this. And and now, and then how is this war thing kind of baked into our things? And those are discussions for other times, and that's what we're going to be talking about maybe next session. Now that we know that we have human sovereignty, what are you going to do with it is the question. We just handed you some freedom today. And if you're listening on, we're going to be 7:14 at 7:14 a.m. and 7:14 at 7:14 p.m. We're taking down the walls of ridiculousness. We're taking down the veil. We are looking through the veil to our own human individual sovereignty. And you are in charge of you. So get busy and let's do the best you can do. And then there's, endless. The road less traveled is actually the road more traveled right now. People are getting to the understanding that we're all in this together. Now, are you on the finite game or the infinite game? And over here, we're all playing the infinite game, if you haven't noticed. So that's the game that says, that we keep coming around over and over again. And this is not bad. So thank you for letting me share, and thank you for letting me take care of what I needed to do. I brought my message to you. You are bringing it to them. They are going to turn around and bring it to other folks. It's going to get big. So we'll see you on the field. Don't be late for practice.
Maybe Alanson, Charles, you can help us understand the secrets of the Emerald Tablets. You have access and insight, information, studies, research. You've put a lot of years and effort and passion into understanding some of these things. And for many, it may be first-time access, mentioning things like the Emerald Tablets.
Mm-hmm.
They have secrets. Help us understand the secrets of the Emerald Tablets.
I love this. Of course, I love this. Well, I was told as a young person how lucky I was to be alive on this planet. And I looked around and said, yep, me too. And then I watched a great man, give away most of his wealth, to other things. And I guess got what I needed, just what I needed. Thank you very much. Now, my job is to take whatever I get and use what I need to help other people. So I don't know. And then I'm usually not there's not a crowded room where I go where people feel the same way, and that's why I'm here to talk to you and talk to you through Cary and talk to you through, because the Emerald Tablets are what you always wanted from the Bible, what I always wanted from the stories about Jesus. But now remember, Jesus was a guy who became Christ. Hermes, was a person who became Trismegistus. Thoth was also in the same, he's his story too. Wandering, asking what I can do, and then the answer came to be a teacher. To be a teacher of men is to be limitless. I mean, teaching. Now, Thoth, the Atlantean, I believe, is the first Christ consciousness to visit this planet, or the one that we can see the oldest kind of thing, because it's on the walls of the pyramids of Giza. Now, that's an interesting thing. And so basically, when you see Thoth in the picture, that means that person was associated with Thoth, already was embodying Thoth. And you had Thoth and Isis and Osiris, and these are the three deities of the underworld and the afterlife and the whole. So it's two males and a female. Isn't that interesting? So, but there's another idea of, the hydrogen model being two women and a male, but it's a three-way. And now Thoth is bisexual, so he's neither male or female. He's the oscillating character within the realm of it. Interesting. Thoth is a bisexual part. What, is there such a thing? No. It means that we both have equal, genders within us, and we're just on a spectrum of being a male spectrum or a female spectrum. And of course, the male spectrum has been trying to battle and dominate the female spectrum since those times. Evidently, that's an ongoing battle, and it might be a universal battle, because there is So Thoth brought us these hermetic what we call hermetic principles, really Thothian principles of the laws of the universe. Now, Thoth also was the architect of the pyramids, and he was architect of language and music and everything. Everything is attributed to Thoth. So I always like to go to the source if I can. So there's lots and lots and lots of information about Jesus or Jesus going to Egypt and spending time in that pyramid. We know that Leonardo da Vinci spent many times in that pyramid. We know that everyone who's into Napoleon spent time in the pyramid of Giza. It's never been for the purpose of like a burial chamber. It's always been for the purpose of information and energy and transfer of energy. So what What the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are about is the first person. So Thoth, the Atlantean, written through Dorial, which is a member of the White Hat Society of the Rosicrucians, bringing forward the secrets and making them available to the common person. And that's what we're doing too. We're making this event free speech. This may be the last chance, honestly. There's a lot of discussion about the fact that, you know, free speech radio is in the short hairs and the crosshairs of everything. No despot, no authoritarian is going to go put up with anything like free speech. So you better be, you know, take this thing and record it, because the Declaration of Human Sovereignty may be subversive. They may be coming to get us. Can you believe that? And I do have this, I have this, I guess we feel somehow entitled that we can speak truth to power. Like, we're not going to get, you know, the knock on the door, Cary. Do you understand that? I mean, Julian Assange thought he was doing, Bradley, you know, Chelsea Manning. I mean, what the heck? Everyone who's stuck their head up is a Thoth kind of person. This is who we are. There's not one person who is Thoth. It's all of us. Or, you know, if we follow this thing, if you play the game and you play it the way I'm asking you to look at what I am doing, then you're going to get a better result. I'll tell you that. If you bring the board of directors from my game to your problem, you'll get a better result. And you'll save energy, and you'll save, there'll be a triple bottom line. I mean, a triple bottom line. How can that not be, you know, that's the thing about Enron, is that the problem is they were making, the more energy they consolidated, the less it costs. You have to make up stuff, you know. Jeez. Here we go. So that's what I said. The Emerald Tablets are basically a story told from a first person about Thoth, the Atlantean priest king.
That's one part. You have many different spokes in the wheel of possibility here. One of the things you talk about is plastic. And if you were to go into what used to be called the space shuttle, or if you were in the International Space Station and you were circling Earth, you would see two gigantic gyres in the Pacific Ocean, giant Texas-sized islands counter-rotating, and you'd say, what is that?
I got to stop you there. I got to stop you there. That's the thing. You think two, and you think Texas is pretty big, don't you?
Yeah.
There are 8 gyres, and they are the size of Australia. Not Texas. Australia. They're continental size
is a continent.
Ocean. Yes. Cary, when I found this out, this is why I'm screaming, you know, they are 8, and they are the size of Australia, but only when they're coalescing, because when they're in hurricanes, they get thrown up into the sky. They get thrown off, and basically all that stuff gets rained on your backyard. You see, where do you think that goes? That's exactly what it's doing, is it's cleaning the ocean that way. My idea was to come and make a nice little, you know, and I still want to do floating islands with other products, but to create, you know, solar panels and different kind of ways to fund things. And we'll get into that another time. But, you know, that was the idea, is if we could take this plastic and bring it together through bio means and other ways, we could use it as a lifeboat. But no one's interested in that right now because we're in chaos theory. We're being thrown into the mouth of the juggernaut called authoritarianism, because that's the easiest way, is just to kill everybody, and they get some dark energy out of that. I'm not quite sure what it is. But we know that life is going to be the thing that is going to continue on. You can't stomp it out. That's the thing. Life is just tenacious like this. So now that we're in the only thing we're doing to play the game is just to be closer to the beautiful joy of life, and being more excited about some of the good things, which is why, as a Stoic, we have to look at polarity in such a way. The goal, you know, the tendency right now is to be running off in a panic about what's happening in our government and what's happening in the planet. It's true. And you could easily make a very strong argument to panic, but this is where somehow the voice comes in from a greater thing, and I want to hand this voice to you, and that's like, you gotta not panic. We learn skills in the game so that we can hold the ball and make a pass to a teammate so that we don't give up the ball, right? Isn't that the way we play soccer? We learn skills. That's why we do skills. That's why we do a pullback. That's why we do a step over. That's why we do something. We do it so that we can slow time down, hopefully to make a good decision, either to get the ball in the back of the net or to get it to a teammate away from the pressure of the game. And this is how you see, that's why we love soccer as the world's game, as our teacher. It is given to, this is one little cake. This is one of those, let them eat cake and circus. They give us soccer. But soccer is actually showing us how to work together. It's the weirdest thing. It's like subversive. They show us this for entertainment, but it's really showing us how to live together. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Football with a bucky full of room.
Many of the concepts that you explore here, Alanson, are spiritual in nature, whether it's the Emerald tablets. There's also something called aguenti, which is in the text. And it's a word that maybe a lot of people haven't heard yet, and they're not familiar with it, but they should be familiar with it. Can you help us understand aguenti?
Okay, this is really important. Thank you so much for bringing this up, because this is actually where we're all, if we get it right, if you get it right in your head, okay, there's going to be a pop, and we'll all disappear in the third dimensional body, and we'll go into this fifth dimensional thing. Like, it will only be like walking through a door, and that's going to be the island of Aguenti. Aguenti is a name. It's a Paleo Hebrew type of word coming from this Thoth, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Now, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are interesting too in themselves. The Emerald Tablets are such a material that cannot be manipulated by anything on this planet. Like, these are hermetically sealed laws of the universe given to us by supposedly Thoth, and but they've been hidden, secreted, and they've been, in the occult. And now we're taking the occult to the occult instead of, I don't even know, the underneath stuff to the out. We're bringing light. And who said it? Someone in our Congress said, nothing like light as an antiseptic for what's wrong. So everything is for a reason. There's no wrong things. Like, everything was designed by us. Now, that's the other thing. The real Stoic takes full responsibility of everything, so that what's happening it's cause and effect. These are the laws. So the laws, remember, the 7 principles that follow the thing. We've got cause and effect is in there. We've got the all is all, vibration, gender, correspondence. Everything's happening now. We've got rhythm. Everything's beating at a pulse. And we're part of this thing called life. Now, you think, again, we are the greatest that our Creator can imagine. And because there's nothing, it doesn't seem like there's anything above us. There might be equals. Like, these other extraterrestrial folks have come and gone and are in and out, and we are somewhere in the game. Now we're ready to really ascend into the game. Many of us are going to be swept up. You won't even know what happened, and you'll be popped into some other situation. You'll forget everything. You won't know a thing. And it's all going to feel like that. Boom. What happened? Another life. Some of us get to hold on to that. Okay. And then the goal is to find out why you are here. So find a big idea, because the small ones are all taken. Get something new, because you are special and you bring some gift. Don't be the one. I mean, don't follow. Well, I could never follow. I was never able to follow a single rule. There's not a rule I saw I didn't want to break. And I do it still. And I do it in a very manipulative and very subtle way that I don't get caught. I don't get caught being happy, joyous, and free, because gosh knows they'll stick me in a concentration camp for that. But you know what? Cary will be sitting right next to me.
Well, I hope neither of us is in that concentration camp. And that way we don't have to worry about what kind of bench we're sitting on. And do we sleep on that same bench?
I'll be
This
right there.
is really
Next to me, Cary.
next to you will be comfortable. Of course, ending up in the camp is optional if you allow a vote to go in a direction that allows such a decision.
We got some power, though, don't we? We can really do it.
We do have the power to simply show up. Show up, which is what Alanson was saying earlier at the declaration, which is I acknowledge the terms and conditions of this declaration and I tick the box. So all you have to do is tick the box that says no camps, no Project 2025, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other option, because we know that many politicians actually do want to serve the people. They do want decent governance because they have children. They want their children to have good education. They want their children to drink clean water. They want to go fishing and actually drop a hook in something that doesn't look like goo. And they want the fish to be not so toxic. Right. Most people are reasonable. 2/3 of humanity are sane. 1/3 not so sane. It's the 1/3 that people are going after. We're speaking to the 2/3 here to empower, to remind.
Yeah, I want to invite everybody over for a cold beer. Okay, there's plenty of room. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where we were all just fighting about Dodgers and Dodgers and Angels. Good Lord, have mercy. So, this is what Amory Lovins came down to. He would have these thing called shower epiphanies. Amory's on our board of directors if you want to do some research on him. But it came down to two things, really, in hot shower and a cold beer. At the end of the day, just let that happen. And we are going to be in just plenty. Everybody's got plenty. So, keep coming back and see what we got going here. And I want to see this big team going. And, if you come up with a T-shirt idea, put it in the comments section. If you think we should just go run away, then you should go shopping. And if you haven't picked up something here, then keep listening because it'll resonate. You are a free person as long as you don't harm anybody. So we're free to live and travel without harm on this planet. And that's what we're trying to do. It's our job to live and travel without harm. That's a full-time job, Cary. Everybody's got something to do today.
And live and travel without harm with each other and, of course, without the infuriating dalliance of extraterrestrials, without them knowing the rules. And the rules are simple. Self-sovereignty. And that's what we've been talking about today. And Alanson, if I'm not mistaken, you have a video. You mentioned shopping twice now. I've been counting. You have a video that actually speaks to that, right?
Well, a woman has a right to choose. And she also has a right to choose what kind of clothes she wants to wear. So let's see what we got here. Anyhow, so that's what we're doing. Use less, waste none. Imagine no waste. There's no such thing as waste. You see, everything is in the same all, right? And we're in a bubble. The Earth is a bubble. It's got a bubble thing. Now we're having magnetic issues with the pole shift. You know, the question is going to be, where are you going to be when that does happen? And we, well, I'd like to include that as part of my my news segment as to where we are in the pole shift. There's some people tracking it.
Yeah, why don't you talk about that? Because it has become global conversation now. It all started back during a tsunami about 10 years ago, where 200 yards, or roughly meters, of an entire island moved, and then an entire landmass moved. I mean, this gigantic volume of distance. And with that, they started looking at the poles and they saw incremental moves, but now they're getting larger because, of course, they're consistent with the second law of thermodynamics. So maybe you could help us understand a little bit about pole shift for people who...
Well, see, again, you know, it seems like you got good vocabulary, I tell you. Shit's happening is all I know. What's going on is I'm following this sun weather channel called Suspicious Observer, and we could put that up there on the screen. Suspicious Observers, and he's been doing the dailies on that, and got a couple things going on. There's a pole shift happening. There's also the tendency for our sun. Remember the law of rhythm? We can see through some geological surveys that there's a rhythm that goes on about every 13,000 years on this planet, where the sun goes into a nova and pretty much wipes us out. There's a pole shift that happens, and we can see this again when we look at the suspiciousobservers.com, I think is what it is, or .org. But so we know that we're in a cycle, and now we're at the end of a 13,000 year cycle. And so something's about to happen. The question is, you know, remember, see, this is what makes it more fun and less panic stricken, because something's going to happen. We know something's going to happen. The question is, are you ready for that to happen? And then can you just not panic about it, because it's coming anyway? So what we want to do is imagine what this thing's going to look like when we get there, and then show up and be ready. And then we won't have to, you know, have any fear about it. It'll feel kind of like walking through a door. This whole, like I told you, the perception. I just gave everyone who listened the freedom to now understand that we are being controlled, but we only control if we let them. We really have full control if we take full responsibility for our own thing. And we have just as much chance as anyone to make that happen.
In the Declaration of Human Sovereignty, we took really a deep look at extraterrestrials, the rules of the road, if you will, because it is a road once you leave this planet, the whole solar system, that we have the right to our own sovereignty. We have the right to our own choices, our own hearts and souls and opinions and passions and lifestyles, and that those must be respected. What I love about that is that it works also domestically, locally, in both the macro and the micro, is that the Declaration works between two individual people who meet on the sidewalk as well.
That's right.
Yeah, when you curated that, you must have been thinking that way.
Well, see, we're looking for things that apply to all things equally. Laws and such that apply to all things equally. Doesn't matter what color you are, what kind of, you know, who you love, who you don't love, right? And then just, that's it. Does it answer? The question is very simple. Is it harmful? Yes or no? Is it harmful? Yes or no? And who is it harming? And who thought it was harmful? You know, and then apologize. You know, you have to forgive yourself first. And that's the toughest one. I mean, the reason this guy is still even being talked about is that he won't get out. He won't He didn't follow the plan. Then get out. Say he probably would have been reelected without all this to do if he had just stepped out as a gentleman. Do you understand that? He probably, he literally would have been reelected, no problem, if he had just been cool with it. Now we have a whole civil war going on, and it's all up in arms. And again, I really want to unpack that with you based on what we just know. Because remember, okay, when they went to the moon, they saw shit. They saw shit. They saw people there already mining the damn moon. Okay. This is what he was all freaked out about, So, I mean, we've known for a long time that this has been part of it. Since the first moon landing, we've known that we're not alone here. And they've been messing around and took that, technology and using it with us and for us and against us. And then you start to think, who else is in on it, and why are we connected to these computers? And how did Steve Jobs get the connection? I always like to give it to Christopher Alexander, but it was probably some, already planned situation from Sirius or Orion or who knows. But we know too that the pyramids of Giza are laid out for the Orion. There's no question about that. And I mean, down to the point of ridiculousness, and the mathematics are and then Orion's belt, the whole constellation is in some form that's mathematically impossible. Our moon is mathematically impossible. Do you know that, Cary? Did you know that?
Well, I knew that it was mathematically impossible for a bumblebee to actually fly because its wings are this big and its body is like that.
It's impossible for that sphere to be exactly the same size as the sun to block it out. Okay, that's impossible. It's also impossible for it to ring like a bell because it's made out of basalts. It's like it's impossible. Thoth won the placement in the moon from Horus in a card game, in a dice game. That's a true statement. Everybody knows that. You played a game for a moon in the placement where it is. This is what's going on here. We've been, and obviously what you saw, I don't know, did you touch any of that stone in Machu Picchu?
I touched all of it. Happily, none of it is roped off yet. It will be at some point because the
I'm saying when you do that, granite speaks. That granite speaks. That just it speaks to you. I don't know what you may not. It's something's in that thing. I did that at Boulder Garden where I would just talk to these stones, these huge boulders, and just like these guys were around. They were underneath 3 billion years ago and decided to come to the surface for this particular moment in time. It's crazy. They're alive too. So they'll stay alive. They'll still keep the planet going while we're like our little fleas. We got to go jump and do something else. So that's the big news. Everybody's in on it. So come on back and we will see you next time. I think we're right there. That number, that beautiful, whoa.
And by the way, you can, when you rewatch this, you can bring up the closed captioning and it will give you the text version of everything. So you can actually read along with it. You don't want to miss a word of this declaration. It's just the way you curated it, Alanson. It couldn't be more perfectly put out there.
Well, it's not from me. It's for you. So it's my gift. It makes me feel good. It really is part of that thing. I know now what my dad is doing.
Well received.
Giving stuff away. It's just whatever it took to get to this place so that we could find you to get to your place.
Well, what an honor. Thank you so much for letting me participate. And
it's like my bar mitzvah.
You change the world.
All right. It's almost 65, minute before 65. Thank you all for listening, and we'll check in with you next week. Keep coming back.
This is the WholEarth Game program. Because everything depends on it.